Okay, we're recording. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second video in our specials series in the Data Garden community. So great to sit down with one of our new friends, Irene, all the way in San Francisco. And so a little bit about the special series that we do. We like to kind of sit down with like practitioners in either the data viz or creative coding fields to get, to kind of chat about their expertise in the field, but also just, talk about a project that they did and do a deep dive on that. And so, yeah, thank you, Irene, for joining us. Hello and welcome.
Hello, well, thank you for having me.
We've covered this a bit, but how has your day been so far?
It's good. It's Friday afternoon here in San Francisco area. So chilling out.
Yeah, love it. We're all just that's the vibe for today. And I'm coming in from Melbourne, Australia, and it's like a sunny Saturday morning, and so yeah, and so it's gonna be just like a chill chat. And also has a project that she's going to take us through later on in this video. But yeah, thanks for chatting with us in your busy schedule and also just being a part of the Data Garden Club and showing an interest in our community. So, do you want to start by telling us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So yes, my name is Irene Alicia Bana. I'm actually originally from Jakarta, Indonesia. But so I think yes,
Yeah,
you're also
represent.
Indonesian.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm currently based in San Francisco Bay Area, USA. I'm currently a full-time data scientist at a startup called Lacuna Technologies, and that's a startup it's a transportation tech company essentially. And what else? Prior to that, I recently graduated from Stanford University, and I graduated with my PhD in structural engineering. Yeah, thank you.
Woohoo!
And now I'm also teaching design thinking as a adjunct lecturer at Stanford's D School. So that's what I
Nice.
did.
That's so cool. I feel like every time you mention to people casually that I just graduated from my PhD, there needs to be confetti somewhere. Like there needs to be something that happens to celebrate that. um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so cool. And I suppose, like, a little bit about like how we met, was through Instagram. And so, it's so sweet, the Data Viz community on Instagram and how we all live in different pockets of the world, which we chatted about a bit. But yeah, do you want to talk to us about the Instagram account that you run, which is at Data and Books, and kind of, yeah, do you want to share a bit about that and like where that came from?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I met Joanne from Instagram through that account, Data and Books. It's actually a pretty new account. Like I started it end of last year, just as like a side personal project that I wanted to do. And so in Instagram, there's this community called the Bookstagram. So for people who don't know, it's essentially a community where there's like Instagram accounts dedicated solely to books, whether that be book reviews, book recommendation, just pretty pictures of books or pretty bookshelves. It's a whole world in there. And I love looking at other people's accounts, but I didn't really I didn't have the confidence to make one because I don't have a lot of physical books. So I couldn't really take photos of pretty pictures of books. Um, so then, yeah, but then I thought that when I was looking through Bookstagram, there's like, oh, there's not really much that's like data viz, which I like, and books, which I also like. And so I was like, why not combine it? And there you go. There's data and books.
I love that. And I think you definitely don't be too hard on yourself for not having an aesthetic shelf. Every time I think I follow the hashtag Bookstagram, and I'm like, I look at my shelf and I'm like, I need to do some work. Like it's just like it's tiny compared to like these like wall to walls, floor to ceiling
Yeah,
shelves that people have.
exactly, exactly.
Um,
Well, one day, one day.
yeah, I know, one day. But you have, I guess, pioneered the art of combining data viz and books, or at least become one of the people to like kind of do that mesh the first time. So it's that, yeah, that's really cool. So I guess like talking about all of that, and we know now that like, you know, data science is a part of like what you studied for a long time and what you work in now. Like, I'm just curious what first got you into data, whether it's like, you know, your interest in data viz, but also just like um,
Yeah,
jumping into data science.
yeah, yeah. So I think I first got into like yeah the data science world, data in general, during my PhD research.
Mm.
My dissertation was really focused on data-driven methods. So I worked with a lot of data, analyzed a lot of data, and like building lots of models based on those data. So that's I think when I first really got deep into data. I really enjoyed it. Exploring, learning new things from like just data in general. And that's how I kind of decided to go into industry as a data scientist. But as for like data visualization itself, yeah, throughout my research, I've always like it's part of like research and like producing publications is like you have to produce plots and graphs, that kind of thing. So like very more like the standard bar chart. I don't know, like histograms, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I did that a lot, and then during and in my work also I do sort of visualizations also sometimes. I work with a lot of geospatial data, so lots of maps, and that's kind of like the visualizations I do at work. But I wanted to, I guess, do things that are more creative, explore the data visualization side from more creative ways, and so I think that's kind of why I ended up doing this whole the data and books account and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, so cool. And I actually just realized how new when you said like your account was like late last year. Like wow. I guess without further ado, now I know that today you'll be taking us through one of your data and books projects, and it seems like it's one of like the really extensive ones. Like I know you do like kind of studies on like series and different books, but this is like like
Yeah.
a whole view of of everything. So tell us
Yeah.
about it, and maybe like tell us why you chose this project to share with us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be walking through a project that I did towards the end of last year. It's basically a poster that summarizes all the books I read during 2022. Apparently, I just had a lot of time that year to read a lot of books. I usually never read that many books. But I thought like, okay, I read a lot of this book. Let me celebrate my achievement. And then so yeah, I decided to kind of summarize that into like a nice visual thing that I can put up essentially. Yeah, so it's like one of my favorite works so far, I think. And I think it was interesting because the end result of what it looks like at the end is actually completely different from what I started with.
Huh.
So yeah, I'll be showing you, I guess, some sketches and initial ideas of how I came up with that.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so excited to see it. Great. Now we're going to jump into that lovely tutorial and walkthrough that you've prepared for us. And after that, we're going to come back and discuss some questions from our community. Yeah, if you're down for that. And yeah, enjoy the tutorial, guys. And cut. Okay.